I think the same characteristics that we usually talk about for a good team applies for a good board. The board has to act as a team. And we always say that a team actually is effective when they are all pushing in the same direction or pulling in the same direction, where they have a very clear agreement on what they want, the kind of objectives they want to achieve together. They also have a clear understanding of how they split the roles among them. And they learn how to address conflicts, not just to let them go by. And they learn how to interact among themselves and also interact with the outside world. Because ultimately they have to deal with the executive management, they have to deal with the shareholders. So they have to have all the characteristics that we always put for a good team. My recommendation is always to start small and grow. And I think a good size for most of the companies that have a really effective board is somewhere between 5 to 7 people. This is my experience of what most companies need. You don't need a bigger board than that. And if we're talking about a small board that can start and then can add more members later on as they mature, then that would help actually, again, build the capacity of this board as a team. So if we're talking about a board of 5 people, I think having 2 of the members that represents the shareholders, 1 from the executive team, and 2 as outside or independent board members is a good balanced composition that can bring different levels of expertise, different backgrounds that can make this board effective. A board always have 2 very big important issues in the agenda, and which is setting the direction for the corporation and then monitoring to make sure that they have the right level of control. And the idea of control, of course, is linked to also the idea of these 2 ideas, of course, are linked ultimately to the idea of business sustainability. How do I sustain a business? I sustain a business because I have a clear direction that I'm following, and I have a good way to control that I'm moving in the right direction. So the board should focus all of its energy on these 2 issues. Have a very effective way to set the strategic direction, and have a very effective way to monitor and control the business, so make sure that it's going in the right direction to achieve those objectives. The problem I see of most of the boards is that most of the board's members come from, of course, being line managers, and they tend to jump into too much details. And this is a problem. To really learn how to act as a board member and not as a manager needs some level of development and maturity, and it only comes with practice. I think the best role a professional board can bring to a family business is to help separate the family issues from the business issues. The problems with most family businesses, as they always say, is that most of the business decisions are made around the dinner table. And as the business grows, actually that is not the best way to make business decisions, because at some point in time, the family interest and the business interest has to be aligned or have to be separated. So a board for a family business will help them to, again, gradually, because it doesn't happen overnight, gradually make a decent separation between family issues, business issues, to ensure the sustainability of the business, because that's what's important for the family over the long run. External independent directors bring 3 very important values in my view. Of course, functional expertise that the board might not have. You might need an expert in strategy, an expert in marketing, expert in financing, expert in HR. And if they don't have them within the firm, then usually an external board member will be the right way to bring. That's the first thing. So good functional expertise. The second thing is also a good impartial opinion, because as an independent board member, it's your role to give your opinion without really having any kind of alliances or agendas, which is very important in board dynamics and success of the board. And the third also is to help the board, if the independent board member have more experience of sitting on other boards, to grow the maturity level of the board. I think part of the problem we see today is that a lot of board members don't have enough focus and attention to really bring the board and develop it to the next level. And to do this, there has to be some good mechanisms. Most of it is related to proper feedback about the board performance. What we don't have today is really for the board to have a good dashboard or a good set of KPIs to measure their own performance. So if you're asking somebody to develop and to be more engaged and to give more, they have to see some success. And having a good set of KPIs for the board to measure their own performance, not to measure the performance of the firm, is a good start to get people more engaged. And the second thing is for the board members to feel that their what they recommend and the actions they take are very seriously taken by the management, the executive management team. And this is where the shareholders also have to help make sure that the board is really representing them and they have the right level of authority to push the executive management team to do what's needed.